And good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Zwift Community Live broadcast of the World Tactical Racing League, WTRL TTT number 73. We're out on the UCI Harrogate course with, what did it say? I think we're into thousands, of course, as usual here. I'm looking at 2,844 racers, 474 teams racing from over 40 countries with 8 zones plus the Platinum League. We've gone Platinum, Dave. Not sure what that means, but it's no longer the premiere. It looks like are we winning Emmys, or where do you win platinum stuff out here today, Dave, I think you're on mute still.
I think we've sold more than 1,000 units in the United Kingdom is what that means. I don't know, but either way, it's good to hear. Nathan, 40 nations, I think that's a big part of the story here, that this is a worldwide movement. And today we get to race on an old world's course. This is a challenging circuit to race on. It sounds like 27.5K. That should be no big deal. But when this one gets all parsed out, it is brutal. So looking forward to some great racing out here today. The World Tactical Racing League, Nathan, is in full effect. This one's going to be awesome.
Yeah, and let's go ahead and jump right on into it. We do have racers out on course. We'll be covering for this week as a heads up, a little bit different this week. It was a little sparse on the participation on the Elite Espresso. So we're in Vienna. We are in Latte and Frappe this week. Vienna, Latte, and Frappe. We do have some on-board cams as well with some of our racers, actually. So we're going to jump right on in with the Viennas right off the bat, though, here as they do take off. We are looking at Team S, one of the Team SZ, one of the Swedish teams here. We do have, and we were practicing beforehand. We could get some correction if anybody wants to, but we do have Marlene Jarhead here alongside with us here, 5.5 watts per kilogram. They were kicking right from the get-go, actually, 5.5 watts per kilogram. And I do think this is an interesting section of this course out here today because I think that this section right here, where Marlene is absolutely pushing it right now, is a place where they can gain a lot of time because it is a false flat, 3% gradient. And I mean, this is a topic not only in Zwift. This is talked about a lot across all racing about false flats being spaces where you can hold a lot of speed and work together a little bit and gain a ton of time.
So, Nathan, let's talk very quickly about the rules of the road here. We have 8 rider teams, or 8 rider maximum. Hopefully everybody's going to be starting with 8. That's not always going to be the case. We then race for 27.5K and take the time off of the 4th rider's front wheel. It sounds pretty simple, but it's anything but that. It can become chaotic out there. We're looking at Marlene's team. And again, great to have Marlene with us here today. She's on Las Rapidas. That's one of the squads of the SZR. And this is our Vienna category, as Nathan mentioned. Vienna, Latte, and Frappe today. So we'll talk about what that means. But here we go as we take a look here at Marlene. Now, only 1.2K in, Nathan. You can see they're getting things sorted out. It's really
Marlene went out. Marlene's known as one of the
little
top
hard
esports riders too. She is amongst that top tier that I would like focusing on during a scratch race situation, a road race situation. I think she went in 5.5, got real excited, and I saw her laugh a little bit for a moment there. And I think in her ears, the team was like, "Hey, Marlene, like, whoa, we need your wheel right now." And so
this is. It's such a great example, Nathan, of what we're talking about here. 8 riders, not everyone's going to be at the same level. You work pretty hard to get a team that is stacked up that way like Cordwood. But Marlene has this challenge now of how do I most efficiently keep this team moving quickly here? It's not by riding 10 meters in front of them. It's not that carrot and that technique. What it is taking long, steady pulls that are going just fast enough that you don't quite reach the breaking point. Nathan, I get it. You're a rider that has this same challenge, and it's one of the toughest things in the world when you have an elite athlete to ask them to do a little bit less just for a little bit longer. It's really interesting in the mindset here, and that's what I love about the Team Time Trial and World Tactical Racing League is this is a complicated formula to figure out. So again, we get to watch Marlene, and again, Bjarne here, the rider that we're looking at in game. We also have one of the mighty Vikings Valhalla riders with it. Wait till you meet Vegard Haugen. This guy is super impressive. And then David Williams, the Welsh rider, joining us today as well. So that's in the Frate and the Latte groups. We're with the Vienna right now. Nathan, if you look at this Vienna field, it's stacked. It reminds me of a couple months ago. Minus the choppers, we've got all the top teams are back. I saw Lizzie Duncombe is back from an in real life triathlon that she did in Estonia. There's a lot going on in the Viennas today, and we'll have a chance to cover that. This 27.5K, it's going to take a little longer than you might think.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of climbing on this course, so I think that's the main thing here is that the amount of elevation changes are definitely going to keep them from finishing too quickly, that's for sure. So we'll move around a little bit here, though. We'll start getting our splits up in just a moment. If you do want to interact over on chat, we are live, obviously, on Facebook, Twitch, as well as YouTube. Almost said Mixer there. So go ahead and let us know what's happening in the chat. I am seeing Grace Smith. And that's a name that we're pretty familiar with. Good to see that she's
big
back.
Fan.
Big fan. I know that she was outside, I think, for quite a while, just coming back into the world of Zwift. And I saw, Grace, congratulations on your first, I believe she was first win out on Zwift just this past week. I saw that post on social media. So a shout out to Grace. And it says that she is Kiv the Vienna Z Sun Hypernovas. A shout out, guys. We Irish stowaway on the team this week. Good to hear there, Grace. And always good to have you in the chat. If you want to interact like Grace just did, go ahead and put that comment in chat. Let us know who your favorite rider is. Let us know who you think is going to win, what the splits are going to be on the day. Any kind of information, bring it on in. We're happy to shout it out.
There's that great quote, whenever you're confused or scared, just or don't know what to do, look for the helpers. And that is what Grace Smith is like. She's just an awesome person that's been incredibly welcoming to this community. So nice to see her back racing. The Celtic Queens, I'm sure, will be back in a jiffy out there. So, all right, Nathan, here we go. We're picking up one. I saw communication earlier from the Cryogen family. It is a phenomenon what they are doing. Again, 25 teams. This is the emus. Emus should be quick with those long legs, Nathan. I'm going to guess they're one of the fastest land birds out. They would absolutely crush a flock of penguins. I don't know if you call it a flock or not, but all right. So this is the emus that we're looking at. Hargreaves is the right. This looks pretty solid, doesn't it, Nathan? When you talk about the formation of the squad here, looking good.
Yeah, they're looking pretty solid. I mean, Cryogen, they always seem to know what they're doing. They've been around for quite a long time. They've been really, really big participate. I mean, when you have as many teams in the TTT and as much communication that's going on within the Cryogen across all the different categories in the TTT, you know that they're going to have the tactics really nailed down here, and they know how to keep things together. They also run some of the best well-organized group rides out on Zwift, so I think or participate as well. So I think Cryogen, obviously, they're going to be well-oiled machine here, and they're 5.1 watts per kilogram now, pushing on here with the emus.
They are
with
not.
So they're not messing around.
Not
here.
messing around.
Now they were lowest seed. They did go out first. So, but they are getting some distance between themselves and two guys. We'll have to see. Two guys went out. I mean, like a freight train, though. I saw them, and they went out. There was a Fleco there. That's for sure. I mean, they went flying. That's for sure. When I first saw them give a go here, Alfonso's there, Gama's there, as well as Agostino, and then it's going to be Matos and Rodriguez from the two guys team flying along.
Let me talk a little, Nathan, more about the format here. As we have 9 different races that happen throughout the day, the 24-hour, the global day that goes, I don't know what other day I would be talking about, but so 9 different zones. This is the Platinum League. We used to call it the Premier League, but all of these teams have qualified based on their performance last week, and you're only as good as your ride last week in the Platinum League. So those teams then receive that coveted, it's like Willy Wonka's golden ticket, the invite to race. But for some teams, it's tough if you're in Australia or different parts of the world getting to fit into this time zone that we're racing in right now, which is basically middle of the day in North America. So when you think about that, then we have these zones that fit around the globe, 8 other zones. So we oftentimes will see fast times coming in from zone 1 and 2. A lot of times those zones seem to be, well, it's also the zones that we have racing before us during the day here. So we'll have a little more attention on that. But I do know, Nathan, at that first split, some of the fastest times that we've ever seen here. So let's just jump right in as I see the latte time coming in. Kirkmeyer Cycling back in a previous race on this exact course had a 9:38. You can see Evo Vortex, Nathan, going much quicker than that. We have Czechs coming in today, over 27.5K of racing at 6 kilometers, 12 and 18.
Look at
Uh-oh.
Dauphin. Dauphin's off the back, and he's saying, give me a wheel. Oh, my goodness. He's having a tough time here. Not sure what happened with Dauphin. He's typing to his teammates.
Coming back.
He's getting,
yes.
Oh, they slow. But he got his Brandon stopped. Oh, my goodness. This is mayhem for the KRT team. Kiss Racing team. One of the longest standing teams. I'm not sure what they're doing here, but like they need to get it together. The mailman, Dauphin Williams here, trying to make it happen. Nice pain cave there. Look at the Kiss Racing in the upper right. Now he's got to wait for his buddies, though, so it's all out of control now. McGuire off the back. I mean, what's happening here?
It looks like a hurricane just hit the shop, right? There's stuff everywhere now. Again, this is the beauty or when you look at life, right, the sweet and the salt, it's all comes together to make the experience. So this is the tough part of team time trialing, trying to reorganize. Nathan talked about communicating on Discord mostly. And this is where that channel will be blowing up with riders trying to figure out what is my move? How do we get this thing back together? Because obviously a little bit less than ideal right now. Super challenging course for a team time trial today, racing here on the UCI Harrogate course. As a matter of fact, Nathan, this will go down as one of the most complex courses that we race on, where you're trying to figure out how to get it done with an 8-person team time trial squad. So looking at those checks starting to come in, they are really quick here. Talking about, 8:30 was the fastest ever time that we'd seen up till today in the frappes, and we've gone better than that with the cryogen turns with an 8:28. That's your benchmark time, but it should get even faster than that. The Vipers are in with an 8:53 and then a 9:08 for Evo Vortex. All right, Nathan, we're starting to fill in from checkpoint 1 at 6K.
One thing I want to speak to you about this course here as well is look, the reality of these undulations and how steep they are and the descents and how steep they are. The speeds get so high when you're in amongst a group. Like, did you see how fast it went out to 35 seconds there? And one of the riders
accentuates mistakes.
Hugely.
Right.
And so because of that, you get this situation where the riders just have to keep it so solid when it comes down to the descents, to the uphills. You cannot let these gaps go at all. It takes so much more precision on this course. So I think a lot of these riders trying to figure that out. And now Dauphin off the back again here. Interesting to see. Not sure what's
Crazy
happening.
day.
Yeah,
this is not the norm. This is a good team. So clearly, you know what? When you show up at the office, Nathan, it's not always smooth sailing, and I don't think today is going to be. It's choppy waters out there right now. So starting to see that. So Kiss, that's the team of David, isn't it? The Welsh rider here, his Kiss racing team just comes in with a 9. So it shows you with all that chaos, they're not that far out. 9:18 the split that we're looking at there. So not ideal, as I said, could be worse.
Could be worse, but definitely not what they're looking for here. And Dauphin,
you're
trying to grab back onto a wheel.
You're almost a minute out at 6K.
Oof,
yeah, that's
tough day. They're gonna have a huge amount of work on their plate here in just a moment here. Let's go ahead and jump on in though with another one of our riders here, and this is going to be the Vikings Valhalla team now that are flying around, and this is looking to be a solid effort here coming in from this team. And Valhalla now at this point, they're only at that 22.3K mark. They were one of the top seeds actually. They were not the fastest. Team Type 1 Lancets were the fastest last week, but it's been this really great battle between Vikings Valhalla and Team Type 1 actually each and every week. For the last 4 weeks, I think we've kind of been talking about these two teams back and forth in this latte category. So it's going to be interesting to see how this ends up playing out. We do actually have one of the riders on board with us here, and this is going to be the rider.
Our man.
Yeah, Vegard Hagen for the Vikings Valhalla, hammered away at a solid 333 watts here.
Vegard sent in a DNA sample to 23andMe, Nathan, and they sent it back to them, and they said, you are 100% Viking. There's nothing else even close to being in your DNA. They
actually said Eric. They said to change his name to Eric and something to do with Leafs. So, I mean, yeah, it's definitely I think we've got. No, the Vikings are hammering away here right
He's
now.
on brand.
He is on brand, 100%. I love how they have their kits behind them too. You can see how well connected this. When you start having like team kits and paraphernalia all around, you know what I mean? When they start having all of this the accessories and all around you that are specifically around your team's brand, it really goes to show how connected, how much communication, how much of a community these teams actually have amongst each other, which is so awesome to see. They're on this little bit of false flat as they do hit the fields here, though. This is going to be a section of the course, again, where some moments of truth, they're going to have to push up over 3, and then it comes into the downhill for their first half a lap. They'll be hitting the KOM here in just a moment. They're chasing down ODZ that are 58 seconds up from them. This is going to be the battle, I think, between them and Type 1. Team Type 1. Now, Type 1 are closing it down. They're only 35 seconds behind.
Well, you just can't take your eye off the prize on a course like this. As we, again, when you look at these splits, today's race, Nathan, we've seen a few races, especially in this latte category, that have come down to seconds. It's not going to be the case today. This one's going to get blown to bits. I guess that we only have 3 riders within 1 minute of each other on our podium here. So nice to see. Back again in full effect is the Team Type 1 Lancettes. This is a top squad, no doubt about it. And they're putting a 909 up at the board at 6K. Again, I've never seen a course, Nathan, where you could really see changes greater than what we have here as well. Because at 12K, it could be entirely different. You never really know, but the Lancettes are on their game. Vikings Valhalla, we were just in with our man Vigard there. He's doing a great job, 927. So you can see they're still within striking distance, only 5 seconds back, as Nathan mentioned, to one of the original Zwift powerhouse squads, ODZ, with Cryogen Emus just another 6 seconds back in 4th. And that's your top 5 being rounded out by the TFC Hornets at 940. So there we go. That's a good look right there at the front runners in the latte category. So I think I've touched on the zones. We've talked about the quick rules here. 8-rider teams, time off of the 4th rider at the finish. 2 laps out here for 27.5K. As we go back now and join Marlene. Now, Nathan, thanks for pointing that out at the beginning. Marlene is not only one of the best riders on her team, she's one of the best riders on the Zwift platform. And look at how just competent she looks on the bicycle, up and out of the saddle, really, really smooth here. She should make a ad for Zwift to run during the Tour de France. She looks very, very well composed, and look at the numbers she's putting up, over 5 watts per kilo for the Swedish rider right now. This is a human wattage cottage that we're looking at.
Yeah, it's gonna be, and I've been watching on one of our screens here. Marlene has been essentially leading the pack most of the time here. She's been pushing them up over the climbs a lot of the time. If we did look at the watts per kilogram comparison, perhaps at least every time I've looked over, she's kind of been on the front pushing the pace here. So we'll see if perhaps they're burning a lot of matches for Marlene up front, and then they're going to be using the rest of the riders on the back end of the last lap and a half here. But she's really been a great leader so far, keeping things together. The first little false flat that they hit into on that right hand turn coming out of the start gate, there was a little separation, but it looks like things are under control now. They're going to take this real sharp left, a little bit of an uphill, some kick here coming from Embring though, and it looks like up into that 284 and a little bit of a gap forming. We'll see. They're going to get back on terms pretty quickly here, and they're getting some solid times. We're looking at the times though. Sisu Du is only 15 seconds back. They're going to have some time to make up. It's almost looking at about 40 seconds or so up to Cryo RDT Swans that are leading things out. Sisu I Race Like a Girl. It's going to be BRT Hell Kittens. Now, of course, Socks for Watts and the Wonder Women. That's been the head-to-head we've been watching out for, though, each and every week. We'll see what kind of times they pull through at that 6-kilometer mark.
Nathan, we have never made it more than 15 minutes into a broadcast without hitting on how awesome this race is. Well, I should say Socks for Watts and Wonder Women in particular, talking about the Vienna category. This race, week in, week out, is as good as it gets. So there's a lot. You could just do a broadcast with the Vienna category easily and have nothing but solid gold content. So, okay, there you go. 9:16 for the Wonder Women here. I'm going to take a look at how that compares to the best time that we've ever seen. And actually, Socks for Watts, Nathan, with their A team, has done an 8:55 at that check before. So let's see how Socks for Watts is racing themselves right now in a lot of ways, as this team has been absolutely incredible. And there it is, 8:49. We've got a new fastest ever split. They're going 6 seconds faster than they ever have before. And This then is going to be another one of these command performances from the team that never disappoints. Socks for Watts, Nathan. What a great story they've been. And I do want to send a happy birthday. I'm assuming she's 21. Who knows? Claire Good, you're a monster. And Claire Good out there with that Socks for Watts team that just set our fastest split time. And let's see here. It's by a lot, Nathan, when you look at it. Tied in second are the Swans and the Wonder Women here. But you can see that that's going to be 36 seconds as I have it here with my public education math.
Looking at the Cryo RDT Swans being the 7th seed here. Solid time so far, actually, at a 9:25, right up against it there, it looks like. Wonder Women, a little bit faster, as we can see, as the time splits change just a little bit here. 9 seconds off of Wonder Women, but this is a solid ride by RDT Swans. Cryogen, maybe this is not a team, in the weeks past where I've said, watch out, I've been watch out for I race like a girl, Sisu, Hypernova's been up there before, Socks to Watts. Obviously, one of the fastest teams that are out there, the Aero Unicorns, watching out for them, of course. But this team is not one that I was expecting to be in a podium hunt at this point, and they definitely are. It's fluctuating a little bit at that 6K mark, but they may have 1 second faster here with the Swans at this point. Second place overall. This would be a riding out of their skin situation if they're able to pull this off. Huge ride here by the Swans.
Nathan, I couldn't agree more. This is a breakthrough performance here, and it's what I love about the World Tactical Racing League is the teams that do the work, that really lean in on this. It does pay off, but it doesn't. It's like a lot of things in life. If this were easy, it wouldn't be any fun. The real joy here is cracking the code on a complicated process. Nathan, I'm going to try to identify as many Swans as I can because I know we've got Alicia Evans out there today. There's a lot of Wrens as well. We'll be talking about them because they're also on a good day. Linda Klein, that's one of the big motors on this team, the Dutch rider, who's obviously on a great day today. This is really such an international squad. Michelle van Dijk out of South Africa. And I'm going to keep looking here, Nathan. I apologize I don't have it all at my fingertips, but it's a little bit tricky sometimes when you have our team time trial teams because a lot of these riders have
separation,
a couple
though.
of
There's
teams.
Only 4 riders together here, Dave. There's only 4 riders.
No wiggle room.
Swans at this point. 6 seconds back. Evans needs to get back on terms. They're having a great ride, but are they going to suffer for it because of the kind of efforts that were put out up front? Because with only 4 riders, with 1 lap to go, 1 rider off the back, and they can't slow down. This is the fastest part of the course. They slow down on this downhill? No way. What's going to have to happen is Evans is going to have to kick as hard as she possibly can to get across. Once they do hit this left-hand turn and that spike, she might have an opportunity to do something there if they don't just jump into that little bit of a kicker going into the sprint section. But 8 seconds, I'm not sure. Don't slow down at this point. So. That's for sure. High speed sections, the most time can be lost.
Hey, Nathan, this is what I love about it. So this is a really tough decision. This is the toughest. This is the crux when you go from 5 down to 4, because with 4 riders now, if someone has a power dropout, there's a lot of variables here, and your race is over. Right now, they are on that edge. This is where you get goosebumps when you follow this sport because, again, as Nathan puts it, they can't wait. Right now, they've got just enough bags on board that they can make the whole journey. It would be really nice to have one more rider to help and give a little wiggle room.
Left, though. Evans just doesn't have anything left either. No,
my heart goes out to Evans. Yeah, so it's not for a lack of trying, but there's so many things working against you, and especially, as Nathan said, once they hit the downhill sectors, this group of 4 is just not going to come back for our solo chaser now. I say solo chaser, I mean, she's part of this team, but ultimately, it looks like we're going to soldier on with 4. This is Mueller that we're looking at now, part of the Cryogen RDT Race Development Team Swans. This is one of the teams we were talking about earlier in the broadcast that have really done their work, but Nathan, it's kind of like holding on to a rope that's fraying in front of you, right? You're just hoping you can hold on. We're going to pick up the Wonder Women now. This is going to be, I believe, this is
Team Sisu. We're in with
Sisu. I'm sorry. This is MBK Kessler that we're looking at right now.
Yeah, and it does look like Liegler as well as a rider for Amy D Foundation. Could be Catherine Curry as well. Ramsey, Pamela Levine is in there. We're seeing Carly Johan. So all of the big names here for Sisu and I Race Like a Girl have shown up. It looks like a little bit of a kick off the front actually here coming from Catherine Curry.
We haven't seen We haven't seen Catherine Curie for a long time. Last time she was racing, she was on the podium at Tour of the Gila, the virtual Gila that we did here on Zwift. So that's very interesting to see. Amy Dombrowski's 33rd birthday would have been yesterday, and her foundation hosted a ride on Zwift, riding 33 kilometers, whatever you want, to go out and remember Amy. So that's really nice to see. Amy passed away getting ready for a cyclocross season back in 2013. But that foundation, man, they are really doing a great job. You can visit the amydfoundation.org and learn more for sure. So Catherine Curie, 2008 U.S. road champion, one of the most decorated riders. She's out of Northern California, was part of back about a little more than a decade ago. Women's racing in America had a bit of a heyday, I would say. We're looking to get back to that point. I'm sure we will with races like the Colorado Classic. But again, Nathan, this is a team that when you look at the quality riders, Carly Johan also on the screen, Pamela Levine, Ramsey, the Dutch rider. This is an all-star squad, much like Socks for Watts. Really, doesn't it make you realize how good Socks for Watts are when you see that they're more than 30 seconds faster than this team?
That's a good
nuts.
point. That's a really good point, actually. I mean, the kind of in real life Palmares that are coming through for a lot of these teams. You don't give away check marks and pro jerseys for nothing. So definitely top team. And this team, alongside of the Wonder Women team, they've got a new squad though that's kind of trying to hunt them down. But with one rider off the back with that Swans with Cryo RDT, we'll have to wait and see. We're looking at the last checkpoints, and it was all within about 20 seconds. Wonder Women, Cryo RDT Swans, CCI Race Like a Guru, who we're looking at right now. The Wonder Women we can see here, just a little ways back. We're looking at KX here right now. This is going to be the Wonder Women. They've got look at how big this squad is, too.
Yeah.
I mean, they've got a lot. I mean, and I'm loving the kit. Look at this. Look at this kit. This is fashion right here. You show up and look fast, you are fast. I mean, they got the Trons all color matched, except for the one yellow.
That says a lot about your team.
Who's the yellow? I want to know who showed up and decided to be different out here today. I think so. I'm getting, yep, and I knew it right away, too. I knew it was going to be V-Win.
So V, I got to tell you a story about this Vietnamese rider. She is amazing. At 22 years old, she just came from Seattle, sea level in Seattle, rode what is considered America's mountain, Pikes Peak. It's about an hour and 40 minutes was the previous queen of the mountain there on Strava. She crushed that down to 1 hour and 32 minutes, and she had a 5-minute stop at the ranger station to get a badge and band, and she went in the gift shop, got a coffee mug, and it was just absolutely amazing. So that is V, the potato.
But,
she works for Microsoft.
Sitting there with the Garmin running, and the guy stops you, the gal stops you, and you're like, do you understand? Do you know what a Queen of the Mountain is? Why? What? I would be like infuriated in the middle of my only Pikes Peak. I fly out. I'm like, and this ranger stops me in the middle of it. I mean, what? And then she presses on and gets the Queen of the Mountain still. I mean, that's amazing.
At one point, Nathan, he was getting her change for a 20 because you have to pay to go past the gate, right? So he left to go get change during the middle of her QOM. That's something to think about, folks. So this is going to be Monali Keller as well. So they work together at Microsoft. And I tell you what, you want to talk about a team building exercise, right? If you can do this team time trial together, you can do anything together. They're in that classic in 1990. Greg LeMond wore this Z kit when he won the Tour de France. It was a children's clothing manufacturer. It's one of the in-game kits. And so
here comes the freight train.
Okay, Nathan, what do you say? Where do we start here? But let's go with Rachel Elliott, right? One of the most inspirational riders on the platform out of the United Kingdom. This team, Vicky Nealon, you're going to see Charlotte Backus. You're going to see right there. That's going to be Lizzie Duncombe, just back from her amazing ride in Estonia. She's a world-class triathlete, as is Kelsey Winthrow.
Yeah, Kelsey Winthrow as well. She, just this past week, 112 degrees or something. It was over huge amounts of humidity, and they did, I think it was 120 miles. You were chatting a little bit actually on social, and oh my God, it looked like a super suffer ride. So she's going to have some serious extra there's a lot of different resources that get added to the body when you do heat training, long heat training like that. We'll see what kind of kick
Can
she's
you
got.
believe
but
this?
Definitely going to have some huge amounts of effort. But coming through the Wonder Women,
Talking to the
catching
pictures
them
here,
one
Nathan.
lap
Yeah.
in. One lap in. They've made the catch. 3 high-no kits. 3 high-no kits. Look at this. They got a Swiss national champion. Then off the front here, back is giving a kick now on Team Turbo here. This is the scrappy team. All different jerseys from all the top esports teams coming together, looking to try and take out another TTT here.
Yeah, I mean, this is just inspirational. There's no doubt about it. And hey, I want to tell the Wonder Women, don't feel bad at all. When you're looking at a team that is firing on all cylinders. They have taken this seriously. They've got so much mojo going for them that this is sort of like looking at the Chicago Bulls in the 90s. I mean, this is just a team that is absolutely dominating, and they're going to continue. There's no end in sight right now, Nathan. I don't know how you get better than this team and the momentum that they have.
I'm giving a call out. Somebody form a team that's gonna be able. This is the call out to the who can unseat.
I hope you're calling out to Mars. I don't know that those women exist only on planet Earth right now.
No, that's true. I mean, when you have one of the largest events in cycling week in and week out with a community that's like this, can you find that talent? That's a great in the world. That is a great shout out there. A great question. Is the talent existent in the world? And this is the shout out even to the pro peloton. Like, okay,
I agree.
You know what I mean? Like, they're showing up week in and week out. We've got pros from across a lot of disciplines on these teams here. Can they challenge Socks for Watts? That's a question here in a TTT. Can they work on it? 2020 showed up. They've tried to do it. They haven't been able to. So let's see what happens.
I was just going to say that, Nathan. Not to name names, but every pro team that I've seen try so far has showed up and failed. If you're going to come for the queen, you best not miss, because oftentimes these teams come, they race, and they say, forget it. They don't come back. So what we're going to be looking for is going to be the team that can catch that magic carpet ride and because what you got here is it's a mix of mostly Americans and riders out of the United Kingdom. Like Lizzie is in London. Claire Good right now, actually, her family thinks she's absolutely nuts. She's on vacation in Wales, travels with her smart trainer, sets it up at the vacation the whatever cabin they're in, somehow finds internet through a phone and is able to race here. Pole, there's the other rider. This German is quietly a cornerstone of this squad. You see what happens here too, Nathan? After the Wonder Women got caught, they've been basically pacing now off of the Socks for Watts team that we're looking at here. If things really change, I mean, you've got some riders that on that team. I'm going to use Monley Keller as an example, who is one of the best day in, day out racers on Zwift. So, maybe they just need a couple more engines, Nathan. I'm not sure what to say there, because, well, I guess what I'd say is Socks for Watts has set the gold standard for us. And you know what? Let me change that. The platinum standard, the highest possible standard, the unobtainium standard. I would even say. I'll throw it back to you, Nathan.
The unobtainium. We're jumping off the unobtainium. We're over to TFC though. Here it looks like TFC having a pretty solid ride here. They're currently the top spot right now. 29.34 in the lattes. 29.44 for two guys there. Cryogen Emos holding up with a solid 29.48 at that 18 kilometer mark. They're about half a lap to go. A hologram, and then BRT Tequila Chasers, as you can see. This is a pretty tight one, though. Only 45 seconds between the Los Freneticos all the way up to TFC. And then it's the Vikings Valhalla, though, still with the time to come in. It looks like ODZ now taking over at the top spot. That's going to be this team a little ways back with S. Pin here coming out of Canada. Lawton there, USA, Brett E. Jerry Delport's up in there, and good to see Jerry, but he's falling off pace here. Needs to get back on terms as quickly as he can, as it looks like he's starting to get dropped off the ODZ train.
I'm taking a look at the Lancettes, Nathan. They are on a great day here today. Look at that 18:41 in the bank there at 12K. So we're now looking at the 18K checks. The fastest teams out there are going to be putting their time up on the board here. ODZ in with a 29:17 as our fastest time right now. But watch out, Valhalla, the Vikings Valhalla, and there is our man Vegard. All right, so the wattage cottage so we're in with the rider in Sweden and Norway today. But Scandinavia, absolutely a cornerstone of the original Zwift family. It makes a lot of sense. And here we go. Vegard Haugen here of Vikings Valhalla. They're overtaking some riders that were dropped out of their team early as they work through some traffic right here. So, Nathan, they're in the mix here. They just put up the fastest time at the moment by 3 seconds over ODZ. That's going to be an absolute battle royale there for these podium spots. The Lancets, however, unless they're fading, and you never know, but it looks like if the Lancets can put this one in under 29 minutes, we're going to have quite a run to the finish here. Again, 27.5K today. If you told me, so 73rd edition of the WTRL, I at that, when we started, no one would have even thought this was really possible to do. And thanks to our friends working at the World Tactical Racing League, they have refined this, and this is a lot of racers. I mean, we're talking about nearly 3,000 racers, over 40 countries out here today in 9 different time zones. This is the Platinum Leagues. This is the big deal here, Nathan. And that's the team. The Lancets are down to 4, so they're on a high wire act right now.
Yeah, Leslie, it looks like TFC Hornets was caught. Does look
Good
like Thompson
time,
as
though.
well from Valhalla. They fell off. There are a couple other riders, Weibu here off the back. So this is what they're left with. It looks like trying to catch back up. And this is the fast descent. It does look like Valhalla do have a couple of more bodies here to work with, I think. 5 riders versus 4 at this point to the line. We'll see if they can make up some time because the Lancets, as you said, they came through with a crazy time. I mean, that's almost 40 seconds here at this point. So can they make up 40 seconds with 5 riders? That extra body, I don't know if it's going to make it happen. Lancets are flying today.
Well, and look, this is really interesting because what we're seeing, so most teams are going to finish with 4 today. That's pretty rare. Usually, I would say the average number of riders coming across the line in the front group with the 4th rider that the time is taken from would be 6.2. or something like that, right? Today, it's going to be like 4.5 average riders with the time is taken off. You look how many riders. So almost like the good old space shuttle that we used to have here in the U.S., those booster rockets. When riders are done, hopefully they can take one last good hard pull, keep the speed up for the team, and then say goodbye and wish your teammates good luck as they soldier on to the finish line. Nathan, have you ever seen one of over the 73 that you've been involved with here with our friends? And I just heard from Martin that there's actually 55 countries that are participating so far today. It's even been as high as 90 different countries. There's only 210 countries on planet Earth. And that's including like the Cook Islands and stuff. So we're basically having representation from about half of the nations on the globe. This is going to be team type 1. That F stands for friend. If you see a D after the 1, that would mean a type 1 diabetic racing. So they put together a nice mix here, Nathan, as they're about ready to start bringing this one home with about 7K to go for our friends at the Lancets. This is the Lancets, correct?
It was the Lancets. That was the top team. That was the top team so far out here. Now we're in with Team Vegan. I did see some shout outs for the Vegan. I think this is going to be the Vegan Vipers, if I'm not incorrect. They're flying along here, it looks like, in this frappe crowd. And they're actually holding on to a top 4 here at this point. I did see a lot of chat coming over from the Twitch chat about the Vegan Vipers here. All in green. Look at the green Trons as well. I love the kits. These teams are really starting to show their color.
Green machine.
Great. This is the green machine here. The Vipers, 4th place so far at this point with the 26.51. Right up against it with the Cryogen turns, trying to battle for a podium. The Innovation Aliens and Evo Vortex, they are just a little ways ahead. Now, this was the first team to start on the day, too. So that 2 next to the name means they went out second. If I might be incorrect there. And who was the first team to go, though? So they were second seeded here. The last team to go would have been 2 guys, Rim, I believe, with that 10 there. So interesting to see. Evo Vortex were the first ones out, and it does look like they were caught by the Vipers here. So the Vipers are having a really good day as they gained over a minute at this point on Evo Vortex. And they're going to, if they get a top 4 or even top 3, they're going to boost their starting to next week by like 7 places or so. So amazing ride here by the Vipers.
Nathan, I do, if I want to be remembered as anything, I want it to be loyal. And I do still stand with my race 3R Fleetwood Mac team. We're not having our greatest day ever, but we're coming back strong. You can see we're only sitting 4 seconds out of behind the Vipers there. So come on, boys, let's go.
Yeah,
That's my squad.
That is your squad. There's your set. Let's see what
Yeah.
they can pull off here. Talk about tight racing, though, for this top spots here. All within
Yeah,
the
it's close, isn't
minute,
it?
At that 18K. And not
they're
more than
only
20 seconds, 25 seconds. And that can be lost in this last half if anybody's really struggling.
Absolutely. And I know Fleetwood Mac is strong. They like to close it out here. They're only 5 seconds out of third, if you look at it. So it might be a little more of a reach to get up to the silver standard there for Alien Express. They're really, to be honest, they got two things going for them. A little bit of a gap there, a little more than 15 seconds, but then they're in the mix for the win. So they are going to be all in here. This should be the best race that we have today, Nathan. I'm going to say, with our frappes here, Evo Vortex with 4 seconds in front of Alien Express, a bunch of other teams sitting right behind them. So anyone falters at all, there's no quarter asked for and no quarter given on a day like today. Welcome to downtown Payne City here in Harrogate. This was the host of the 2019 Worlds. That seems like a lifetime ago now, Nathan. This turn here, that Zwift Draft House, we had events in there every day that were an absolute blast during the Worlds. Zwift knows how to throw a party in real life as well. DM Doe, big fan.
Good to see her. Yeah, race hard and have fun, ladies, especially my WTRL full gas ladies. Good to see you, DM. DM showed up actually the other day to the Tuesday night hammer ride, actually, the full drop ride in real life, actually, here with Project Echelon. It was good to see her. So cool to see DM hanging out in the chat as well. Taking down sprints with the boys out there. She's a strong rider, that's for sure. No,
she's a fun person.
Coming to the ride, coming to the finish line here. Team Vegan here, the Vipers throwing down. Can they get a podium spot today? That's what we'll find out.
Well, and this is why we do this. We don't just talk about it. Right now, these riders are digging incredibly deep. You can see the finish truss right there. This one is now done and dusted. We're looking at Noah Trek coming across the line, and then Nathan, we're going to jump right now back in with, it looks like Evo here. 4 riders, Nathan. This looks pretty ragged right now. This is the team that has that 26.
They were caught too. So they were actually the first seed. They were the first ones to go out, not number 1 seed, but the first seed to go out. And the slowest time from last week. We'll see if they can hold on.
Right.
See if they can hold on. Cryogen turns here, coming on like a freight train here. And look at this here coming from Burgess, trying to jump over.
This is the last kick here.
More. Yep. And look, they're dropping. Moore needs to get back on terms. They got nothing left, it looks like. There's a mountain bike? Who is on the mountain bike? What is going on?
Someone didn't get the memo, it looks like. I feel like that's me oftentimes. So Nathan, again, time off of 4th wheel here. So those 2 up the road, actually, what they do is they just kind of like start the process of getting your finishing time. We'll count 1, 2, 3 riders, but you can see that again, everyone's got work to do as far as how you finish these events. It's really hard to keep everyone together across the line. As you know, Nathan, racers are racers, right? It's almost like when a horse can smell the barn, it's really hard to stop it from galloping. They know they're going to eat. In this case, you're going to get a little bit of reprieve out here as we're going to jump back in. This is the KISS Racing team. Excuse me, I'm sorry. We're actually going to jump in with Vicky Nealon and Heino. Well, actually, Heino is one of the teams that she races for. This is going to be the main squad are WTRL Superstar Socks for Watts.
Yeah, and they're flying right now. It looks like there's a solid battle going on here between them and, not really, but Sisu's just a little ways behind them at this point. But Socks for Watts, they're really walking. Excuse me, they're about to catch. I'm sorry, you guys, a little bit off. They're about to catch.
It's a little,
Sisu, actually. They're about to catch Sisu. Sisu's 34 seconds up. Sisu's staying organized. They're on a downhill here at this point, trying to stay away from them. We do see also, interesting enough, amongst one of our other cameras here. I'm going to see if I can bring it in. But the SZ team, see if I can get this here. And there, here we go. We're in with them, and Marlene and this whole SC team are really Las Rapidos, I believe, here, really killing it. They're about to
Yes.
finish up their race here. They may be catching the Wrens, or did they go out first and the Wrens have caught them? That's gonna be the question here that I'm playing with as we're looking at these times right now. I do believe Las Rapidos are having a tough day out here. 30-17 tied with Sisu Du, so we're gonna see if they can pull it off.
Well, and again, you're looking at the best in the world right now. If we did have a virtual Team Time Trial World Championship, Socks for Watts have proven this week in, week out. This is not a flash in the pan that we're looking at. And Nathan, they now have a reserve squad that they can go to as well. But let's go ahead and jump in with Marlene here. Marlene has the tough task today of being a really strong rider with a team that is moving into the Platinum League. So to be fair, she's playing a bit of a mentor role, really strong rider, trying to figure out how to use that velvet glove and apply that strength without breaking the team out here. This Swedish squad they'll get better and better. Watch how steep the learning curve is out here. But Marlene is a rock star. No doubt about it. I'm looking forward to seeing her race also individually out here. We've got an amazing schedule coming up here this fall. If you've been enjoying racing on Zwift, well, buckle up. It's going to be a blast.
Now we do see it looks like one last kick to the line, and it is a battle between them and Sisu Du. And they're at 30-17. They were right up against it there. Actually, Susudo 1954 and a 1020 at those last two checkpoints too. So they ended up tied at that 18-kilometer mark. Everything to the line. Marlene, you can see here, really hammered away. And I think that's going to be 195, actually. I think there's a 1 missing from the heart right there is what she's actually putting out. Lavdell here now on the wheel. As you can see at 171, they are dropping off one rider. All they need is 4. All they need is 4. They can let that rider go, but now it's a sprint to the line here.
Yeah. Yeah, and it comes up very, very quickly. So they're there. That's certainly they can take a pride in that, as they are going to finish with 4 as a unit. A lot of teams are having trouble even getting that done today on this really what has been a brutal course to race on. 27.5 kilometers is now in the rear view mirror as we're going to punch out here at the finish line. This one is done and dusted. Great job out there, Marlene, leading the team through a challenging ride here today. You know what, Nathan? This is how you sharpen your sword. A day like today will make you a better bike racer, no doubt. Good job, Marlene. I think we'll have a chance maybe to talk with Marlene or maybe some of our finishers a little bit later, but we've got a lot of riders out on course right now as we're going to go back and pick up the superstar squad of Socks for Watts. Nathan, they're bringing it on home. That's going to be Charlotte Backus motoring through. They're picking up. So they started last out of their pen as the top seeded team. So they've gone through quite a bit of traffic out here today. Vicky Neelan, Charlotte Backus right up on the front. There is nothing about this team that doesn't say superstar.
Yeah, and they're solid time here. They're kind of walking away again with this one. Almost a minute and a half at this point. Let's take a quick look at
We're going to have to split this
here.
team up. Right, we're gonna have to have a commissioner come in and say, like when they split up Ma Bell here, we've got a situation where this team has just been so. I mean, Nathan, I you know what, Martin is so good at what he does that I'm gonna guess they're honing in on their 18th win. And this team really has only been competing for, let's say, 24 times, something like that, in the 73 editions of this event. It happens every Thursday around the world. This is the Platinum League. The top 11 squads qualify based off of their time last week, no matter what time zone they were in. We have them all racing here. They bring their best 8. And we throw down. It's a battle royale. So, Nathan, let's talk about course records out here. 36 flat was the men's record. In the Vienna category, this one will be absolutely shattered today. 40.06, and they're racing their own ghost, Nathan, right now. That's how good they are. They only have, the only competition they have today really is beating their own course record. And again, it's not even a question here. They're going to go, I'm going to think, almost a minute faster than 40.06.
Oh, we'll see. They're getting
maybe
close.
Not. Actually, you know what? I'm
close.
sorry.
I've
got a minute off here.
I don't think
I
they're going to beat
apologize
it here at this point. They've got a right-hand turn, a left-hand turn. It's going to have to be a sprint to the line, actually.
And it's
we'll
climbing.
It's
a lot of climbing.
So not sure it's going to happen. Now, that's amazing to me with how much time, they have taken out a lot of the other teams here today.
It's going to be
Interesting
close.
to see. They must have had an amazing race the last time they were out here.
Yeah, well, and this team hasn't really changed all that much, has it? You see a couple of riders that, it changes out week by week for sure, but the core group really doesn't change much. I would imagine Charlotte Backus hasn't missed one of these throughout this entire run, and Vicky Nealon also extremely. What would be the word? She just shows up with her A game week after week. Mauer, that's the rider that has been a new star on this squad. And here we go, the ramp up. Boy, it is going to be really close. The time to beat 40:06. It's their own time that we're talking about. I think they are going to get it.
They might do it. We'll see. They're going to have to sprint to the line. 4 riders.
It flattens out
Rachel Elliott,
just a bit.
5-4 here. They got a kick right now to make it happen, though. It's 30 seconds up, I would think, at this point. Look, I mean, there's the line. Full gas here right now, and it's going to be right down to the second, I think, which really tells you
they have a
lot about
right now.
The fitness level that they've maintained and kept right on steady here throughout this past year.
4th rider. So, boy, yeah, she comes through today, the Swiss rider, Maurer here. They're going to do it, Nathan. They're going to do it. It's going to be about they're going to have maybe 5 seconds to play around with here. Make it more like 10.
Amazing job.
They did it.
I think they've done it. Now, we'll have to wait on the back end API, make sure. The results are always a little bit up in the air sometimes, so we'll have to wait and see how this ends up playing out. Now back in with the Wonder Women, though. They're looking to finish up with their super awesome kits that I love, with this old Zed kit and the Tron bikes, all pink and purple here. Of course, V-Win there with the yellow standout. Her cat changed it while they were setting it up, obviously, punching the keyboard. As now it's going to be Monalee Keller leading things out here for the Wonder Women as they come across the line.
This is the squad, the most likely squad to overtake Sox for Watts if they can continue to recruit and really just work on the art form of team time trialing here. So that's a solid ride. It'll be interesting to see what our top 5 looks like here today. But again, no question, Sox for Watts doesn't miss a step out there today.
Yeah, we'll take a look here real quick in just a moment with the results as they do start to populate. I am starting to see now. This morning, though, I want to give a shout out to Team Arrow. They were holding down. And Team Arrow, if you're unfamiliar with that team, that is the newly launched esports team that is coming out of Australia, New Zealand. I think it's just Australian national road race teams that are actually continental racers. Team Arrow, both on the men's and the women's side. So the women's side of things in the Vienna, they did compete and they came through with a 44-13. We'll see if they can hold on to try and come up against the top times within the Premier League. Platinum League. Now that we changed that up here for number 73, it was the AHDR Watt Women Cryo RDT Rennes that did just race in the Platinum here league, as well as Las Rapidas. We're holding down 3rd and 4th just a moment ago. As it does update, though, we're going to start getting some new times here coming on in. We'll see if Marlene, can you hear me? I want to double check here. Can you give me a thumbs up if you can hear me, Marlene? And see if she does have a mic on. I don't think she's chatting in Discord. Now, a lot of times what happens when they have Discord, their Discord takes over the microphone and it can't come through to the productions, which it's more important 100% that they're communicating with their teams than coming in with our productions. That's for sure. I'm going to chat with Daffod maybe. We'll see if Daffod, are you with us? You with us there, Daffod? No, Daffod's mad because he fell off the back. We're good friends with Daffod, just so you know. It's all fun. Daffod's been a part of Zwift venting area and a couple other places for the longest time, and been a long-time friend from the KISS racing team. So it's just a little bit of ribbon inside here with him. Martin, I'm going to jump in with Martin, WTRL man. Dude, you got the new kit on, Martin, it looks like. What's this new kit all about?
Oh, this is we have a range of kit. We have a partnership with No Pins in the UK, and you can pretty much get hold of a whole ton of WTRL merchandise, from proper outdoor, wind tunnel tested racing kit. There's indoor, different fits for depending on how tight you like your gear, and obviously there's a leisure wear range as well, but.
Nice,
That's all
nice, very
available. All
cool.
the links
Yeah,
on
yeah.
the
We just
website.
got our polos, except for there was some green on them. So we were like, oh yeah, but maybe we'll see if we can get them into broadcast here as well. But yeah, looking good. The stuff's looking good. I'm loving the new WTRL kits for sure. How we doing on results? Pretty amazing race out there today, hey?
Yeah, no, it's certainly some. I'm intrigued to know who's doing the TTT on a mountain bike. I really love to see the data behind that as well. That's going to be fascinating. But yeah, the results are pouring in. Socks for Watts are there, Sisu are there. I think Wonder Women are almost in the results now. Yeah, there's plenty there in terms of Vienna. There's still a few still out on the course as well. But no, another fantastic week for the new Platinum League for lots of new stuff. So keep an eye out for the announcements that'll be coming out over the next few days.
Sounds good. Thanks, Martin. Just wanted to give a shout out to Martin and let everybody know he does hang out in the background. He is there getting a ton of work done across all the zones throughout the entirety of the day in the office there. In our ears, giving us chat the whole time. So he does a huge amount of work. Go ahead, Dave.
You know how there's the pain cave? He's in the data dungeon where that back end API stuff gets ground out. And Nathan, that would explain why sometimes when you're looking at those splits, you'll see that time change by a few seconds. And that's the back end API kicking in and giving us even more accurate data. So people might wonder, why does that happen? So what Nathan is talking about is kind of the process here to make sure we have accurate times. So I am really curious. I think they did, but did Socks for Watts beat their course record out there at the UCI Harrogate course? I'm going to guess yes, but you never do know.
Yeah, we'll double check here in just a second. I'm just making sure that we got everything set up correctly. And let's go ahead and take a look here and see how things ended up playing out. We'll go through all the results here. Across the categories, there were some questions coming in about covering the espresso and a couple others. We want to give some love across the rest of the categories today. And we'll be back in with the espressos, of course, next week. And there it is, Socks for Watts with a 40-27.
So no, they did not, according to this.
Yeah, according to this. Martin, is that right? No, they were 30 seconds off there, Martin. Is that right?
Yeah, you have to remember the clock on screen is ever so slightly out in terms of what the real time is, and then obviously there's a start delay and things like that involved. But yeah, they're not far behind. But the record stands for them to chase another day, and hopefully some other teams as well.
Look how close it was, Martin, for a second there. Wonder Women rallied there as they'll end up taking the silver medal, but it was only 5 seconds difference there over Sisu I Race Like a Girl. So those two teams are really in the mix. The conversation remains a fun one. Cryo RDT Swans ending up in 4th, Arrow in 5th. So, but again, that's zone 1 that we're talking
big
about.
Shout out to the Australians showing up and throwing down a solid time.
2 Australian teams.
Yeah, in the past weeks, yeah, exactly. Aussie Hump Day ride with the Watt women. They've not actually been able to get into that top 10. So they definitely threw down this week and are able to get into that top 10 situation.
So, Nathan, you made the comment, where are we ever going to find a team that could beat Socks for Watts? Maybe the answer is Australia, actually. Yeah. AHDR, that's Australia Hump Day ride. You know what I'm saying? I'm starting to pick up, this is very possible. There's a lot of really strong riders down there. Maybe they'll pick up on the vibe with WTRL because it's a movement. I mean, we're close to 3,000 riders out here today. Z-Sun R Hypernova in 7th. This is the women elite that I'm talking about. Cryo RDT Wrens in 8th. The Hell Kittens, love that name for the BRT team in 9th. And then the second squad that they're mentoring, our championship squad, Socks for Watts, has the Aero Unicorns out here, and they'll take 10th today, 4 minutes and 34 seconds back from the top time. So that's a good look at the Viennas, still dominating our Socks for Watts. And guess what? So are the World Elite Zwifters, Nathan.
Yeah, World Elite Zwifters ended up taking down the top time. Now, they did not challenge. Well, they challenged 40 seconds back, it looks like, from the time of PO Auto. That was the standing world record on this course, but were unable to take it down. Vision D-Pack come back with a vengeance, actually. They've been a little bit off the last couple of weeks. Good to see them taking down that 3rd spot there, called up by the Vultures. Throwdown with AHDR A+ there. Then it's going to be the Ram Raiders, and then it's going to be Relentless. WTRL Volendam, a little bit off their usual domination elevation. So interesting to see the Dutch team not able to get into the top 3 spots. We'll see if they start ramping things up into the winter. Dirk Diggler lost Torpedoes, and it's going to be the Innovation Euro Aliens just hanging on, but they are coming in from zone 2 there with that 39.16. Still quite a few zones to come, though, throughout the day. We'll see if anybody else gets into that top 10 for the Platinum League as we finish out the day. And then let's go ahead and take a look here at our Frappes Evo Vortex there, it looks like, Dave.
Yeah, with a 39.51, good for gold. Aero Force in second. Look at how close that was. Just 2 seconds there back to third for the INC Alien Express. Great racing out there. Fleetwood Mac does pick up 1 spot there, so they started to motor. Race 3R, Fleetwood Mac ending up in fourth.
They caught the Viper. That
They
was
just
one of the
got 'em.
conversations. They just got him.
Yep.
You
So
made the
that's-
call.
and
That
hey,
was a good
no-
call, Dave. That was a good call.
That's my squad. So Vegan Vipers, though, hey, listen, great job. And that team is now in the conversation of our Frappe Powerhouse squad. So I know you'll have your day of Vegan Vipers at 40-36. 6th is Cryogen Turns. 7th is the BRT Triple Beers. 8th is going to be Tuga's Rim. 9th for R33-B. And then it's VMZ1 taking out 10th. Those last 2 teams sound like
Star
they're
Wars.
robot-based.
They came from Star Wars.
Star
because
Wars,
they're coming-
exactly.
Yeah,
That's-
R2D2 had
The droid.
had a cousins. Yeah, a couple of cousins
Yes,
come on in.
exactly.
Need some
Nathan, isn't this
translation.
community the best? I think that Martin and Steven, all the way from the top on down, it's like, yeah, these races are really tough. Only the strong should even attempt this. But having a sense of humor, community, obviously makes things so much more fun. And I think that's kind of the secret sauce to the WTRL, is that people
Speaking-
find their tribe.
Yeah,
Go ahead, sir.
exactly. No, you're good. That's 100% true. It is part of it is that people find their tribe and they race with them week in and week out. It's amazing. Now, speaking of secret sauce, though, Kirchner E-Cycling, 42-52. Take that. And the Lancets, I thought, were walking away with this one.
Me too.
And
I'm
they were able
a little shocked
it
here.
was that Viking Valhalla versus, but Kirchner E-Cycling, they actually, let's take a look at this. I'm going to just go over here real quickly. And that's exactly why. They set a new course record on the day, throwing down up against the rest of that latte crowd. So able
The
to
credit,
throw down,
Nathan, is how well they gauged their effort there on this course to be able to have these, lack of a better term, negative splits there at the end of the race, coming on
Kirchner
and
E-Cycling,
taking
well,
that.
they were in zone 3, so they, I think they just kind of walked
Oh.
away with it without anybody else being around them. They rode their own race. They rode their own race.
That
Vikings
explains a
Valhalla
lot.
Ended up getting
Yeah.
caught, it looks like, in that final few K or so. They had a solid ride, but they ended up with 4th place, just off of the podium. I actually see our on-board rider smiling a little bit about it. I can see actually coming in from Vigard Hagen from Vikings Valhalla, chatting away about their result there. ODZ, they were able to hold off ODZ, though. There was a battle between them and ODZ for that 4th and 5th. 2 guys nada. Valhalla Graham followed up by Team TFC Hornet. Then race 3R Siddhartha. It looks like we're heading off into the Eastern religions here with Siddhartha, and then it's going to be Los Franaticos. And reminds me of my studies in my undergrad. Actually.
That's
So,
absolutely hysterical. Nathan, if we start using Eastern religions as team names, right? You'd have plenty to choose from.
yeah,
Right.
we'd have plenty. There's millions actually within that one. So, okay, going on into
let's jump
RR
into the
White
Mochas.
Rhinos. Go ahead, Dave. It's all you.
Hey, RR White Rhinos, congratulations. A 49.55 gets it done today for the win in the Mocha category. The TBR Z6MI team ending up in second. The TT1A1CS ending up in third. Los Ketchup in fourth. Pemby Leopards in fifth. The CRMA B Squad taking sixth. Team Type 1 Hypers in seventh. Valhalla Jawhorn in eighth. Z Sonar Hydra ninth. And Eat Dirt Trois. For some reason, saying Trois is easier than Deux for me. So there you have it. That's your top 10 for the Mocha category. It was a great day of racing out here, the 73rd week. We'll be back next week, of course, Nathan. Thank you to No Pins as well. I am so stoked to watch these numbers growing. You can feel the energy ramping up. We're going to have a really good season.
Yeah, it's going to be great here. New York Astoria line, 8th for 3 laps. That's going to be an interesting course. It's got a little bit
Ooh.
of, that's a really bumpy course. Very, not like this where it's like longer
That'll be really
punches,
challenging,
but
though,
super
because
bumpy though. Like lots of momentum to be carried through a lot of stuff. So again, everybody, 7 p.m. UK time, 1 p.m. Central time next Wednesday. Registration closes. Get your teams together. Get signed up. WTRL Racing, WTRL.racing. Head on over to that website. I'm going to see real quickly here if we got the mailman or not. Daffod, can you hear me? No, he can't hear. I wanted to get the mailman in, but his whole situation over there is just way too
Daffod is
loud.
he's actually a mailman in Wales, correct?
Yeah, he's actually a mailman anyway. Yes, that's why I keep calling him the mailman. Everyone's like, "What mailman, Nathan? What are you talking about?" So, Daffod Williams, we had him in obviously live as well. A big thank you to Marlene as well as Daffod and Vigard Hagen for giving the live cams. Always great. You want to get set up with the live cams, make sure to contact WTRL week in and week out. We definitely want to highlight all of your efforts as well as your teams. And that's going to be it for us until we've got a really great broadcast coming up on Saturday. It is cross-posted actually to a lot of different Facebook pages. It's going to be a huge broadcast. We're in with Pavlov Foundation, pediatric fighting pediatric cancer, and childhood cancer. It's all about research and supporting as well the kids that are struggling with that. So it's going to be emotional, that's for sure. We were doing the pre-productions, and we're crying in pre-productions. Like
it's actually. Yeah. I mean, it's cathartic. It really is for everybody that's been working on it, Nathan. So that's Pavlov Foundation, 8:00 Pacific time here in the United States. Do us a favor and come join. And believe me, you'll walk away a changed person. This will touch your heart. I guarantee you.
Yeah, and there is a Strava challenge as well. So go check out the Strava challenge. There's also a Zwift event. So you can join both of those things in order to get involved if you want to ride. You can ride in real life for it. You can also ride in Zwift for it during the event. And we'll be here, obviously, like we always are for the broadcast. And it's going to be a great weekend. We're really excited about that. Pavlov Foundation, go check it out. All right. That's going to be it from us. Thanks a lot to WTRL. Good job to all the racers. Thanks to all the viewers. You haven't done so already. You want to get notifications? You want to know anytime we're going live? Hit the follow button. Hit the bell. Do all those things. Live on Facebook. We're live on Twitch. We're live on YouTube. You can always watch all our VODs, our videos on demand of all the past races and all those places. And we'll see you for the Pavlov Foundation ride this weekend. As always, everybody, ride on.
Happy birthday, Claire.